Good morning, it's July 4th. I'm Caleb Bailey, and welcome to a World Watch tribute to Independence Day. We hope you're able to take time to enjoy maybe a gathering with friends and families, or a picnic, or even a parade, something to make the day special. And even more, we hope you'll take time to think a bit about the importance of what we're commemorating.
On July 2nd, 1776, delegates to the Continental Congress from the 13 American colonies voted for, and 2 days later adopted the Declaration of Independence, which begins with these words, drafted by Thomas Jefferson.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another.
When that happens, you need to state your case, beginning with God's design for mankind and government.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
And what if those rights are cut off? Well, then...
Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it.
Not that such a thing should be done lightly. In fact,
prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes.
Such was not the case. In fact, the founders were just getting warmed up, citing
a long train of abuses and usurpations.
They accused the King of England of tyranny.
He has obstructed the administration of justice
and making unjust laws,
imposing taxes on us without our consent,
and doing violence to the innocent.
He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people.
And it's not like the colonists hadn't tried to work things out.
In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress.
But since England would not listen,
we, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America,
there was only one thing to declare:
that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states.
It was a dangerous move, but they went forward together.
With a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
And so today, we celebrate these founders and the Declaration of Independence.
That's a great reminder of the history behind this holiday. And not to take it down a notch for a minute, but I have to admit, I've always wondered about one July 4th idiom. In fact, since George Washington was a farmer, it's one that he might have liked. So I'm glad Hannah Harris has stopped by to help me out.
What in the word?
Have you ever heard the phrase knee-high by the 4th of July? It's an old adage. An adage is a proverb or short saying that expresses a truth. And this adage is about how tall farmers think their corn crop should be at this time of year. If the plants were up to knee height by the 4th, things were looking good for a bountiful harvest. My family lives up in the Midwest, so I think we should check in with them.
Yeah, Hannah. Normally at this time of year, the corn is so tall you can almost get lost in it.
But because of our cold late spring, you can see that it is only knee-high by the 4th of July.
Well, it looks like the Minnesota corn is a little slow growing this year. It's usually more like 6 or 7 feet high by the 4th of July. And you'd have to be the Jolly Green Giant for it to be knee-high. That's because of genetic engineering. Today's crops grow much taller and faster than they used to, and they're more resistant to less than ideal conditions like drought or extreme temperatures. And there's another phrase you might know from the musical Oklahoma.
The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like...
As high as an elephant's eye. Now that's more like it.
What in the word?
Did you realize that independence is by far the world's most celebrated holiday? Of the globe's 197 countries, more than 150 have a day to celebrate independence. Most of those countries are celebrating breaking free from European empires. In fact, more than 50 celebrate independence from the British Empire or United Kingdom, about half that many from France and Spain, and several from Portugal. For example, India celebrates its Independence Act of 1947, which freed that country from the British Empire and also, by the way, ended up creating the nation of Pakistan. The largest nation in Africa, Algeria, will tomorrow be celebrating its independence from France, won in 1962 after a long and costly war. Ironically, some nations gained independence from nations that first gained independence themselves. Colombia celebrates its independence from Spain, and Panama, in turn, celebrates independence from Colombia on what is called Separation Day. In Mozambique, people speak Portuguese because Portugal once owned the West African country. They celebrate their freedom every June. A batch of new Independence Day celebrations suddenly came into existence with the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. Those nations gained freedom from communism when the USSR dissolved into 15 separate countries. One of those is now trying to take away the independence of another. Ukrainians will mark their independence holiday in August. It's very likely that soldiers will still be on the battlefield defending against Russia's invasion. The danger of losing independence can make us realize how precious it actually is. That's certainly the case for Ukrainians. It would be easy for Americans to begin taking freedom for granted. We don't want to have to lose it to discover how much it really means to us. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.